What if our most important play this week isn't a set we draw up, but a decision we decline? I'm not dropping the headline yet, because I want you with me in the moment the way we live games. Possession by possession. Heartbeat by heartbeat. Feeling how this group has started to win without shortcuts. Feeling how the spacing is cleaner. The rotation's tighter, the late clock choices smarter. You already know the story that's buzzing around the league. Phones light up, timelines melt, thumbnails shout. But before any big reveal, let's read the floor like vets. Our identity right now is built on trust and clarity. Run, respace, keep the paint touch, punish help, defend with 2 feet and strong hands. When you can do those boring things well, you don't panic when rumors try to write your future. You breathe. You get clinical. And you ask the only question that matters. Does this make us better when the scouting reports get mean in April and May? That's the filter I'm using as we talk through the scenario that has every algorithm dreaming in blue and silver. Not yet. Stay with me. Let's frame the board just like our coaches do when they hit play on film. What do we control, what's noise, and where's the edge we can steal today? Here's the reality I keep coming back to. The Lakers chose leverage. The man himself chose leverage. That matters. Leverage is not a press release. It's a seat at the controls. We've got a superstar who secured the option, owns the veto, and understands his body better than anyone in the building. That's not rumor fuel. That's guardrails for everything that follows. And what follows, inevitably, is a window where other teams, especially the ones living in urgency mode, start fishing in the biggest pond. You can see why one team in particular is trending in every conversation. They have a heliocentric genius with the ball in his hands, and a second star who bends half-court geometry with handle and shot-making. They added a future Hall of Famer who still scares weak-side tags just by standing there. They have a vertical spacer who screens like a truck. They have wings who run lanes hard and defend with length. On paper, it is intoxicating to imagine one more brain at that table. That's the seduction. But paper doesn't set rotations. Paper doesn't pay taxes to the CBA. Paper doesn't keep a fourth-quarter pulse when the counters start piling up and depth gets punished. And depth would get punished because the rulebook doesn't care about dreams. It cares about math. To import a max salary legend in this era, you stack contracts, you staple picks, and you pray the surgical cut you make doesn't slice the nerve that gives your team its edge. That's the difference between a rumor that trends and a reality that survives a 7-game series. Now pivot back to our side of the court, because the most underrated thing about this start isn't a highlight, it's a philosophy. We are trying to win possessions by design, not by rescue. Watch the tape. More early drag into an empty corner to force the nail to declare. More snug pick and rolls where our connector short rolls to pass, not panic. More willingness to let the third ball handler finish the action instead of resetting to the logo with a prayer. More disciplined weak side exchanges so the help can't sit in the lap of our driver. More accountability on box outs so our guards can push without staring at the ball. That's how you protect a 40-year-old spring without sacrificing a 40-year-old ceiling. It's risk management as basketball. So when the rumor mill spins up a Dallas-colored storm, I'm not hearing evacuation. I'm hearing test of identity. Who are we when every timeline demands a blockbuster? We're the team that stays on plan, makes small, grown man upgrades, and preserves the late-game solver who still makes defenses feel like they forgot their homework. That's not nostalgia. That's shot creation equity the league tries to buy every February and never finds at a discount. Let's talk basketball fit, because if the basketball doesn't work, the business is irrelevant. The hypothetical version that breaks the internet is obvious. Put a savant next to Luka and Kyrie, surround them with shooting, and teach help defenders to pray. You'd attack weak links by inverting screens. You'd run Spain with impossible timing windows. You'd hunt switches 2 passes ahead so the defense can't load early. And you'd put the rim under duress with a big who finishes violent. In theory, that lineup wins fourth quarters before they start. In practice, you get the bill. The second apron doesn't just nudge you, it handcuffs you. Every salary you ship changes your rotation math. Every pick you attach is a future you no longer control. And every depth piece you lose is a coverage you can't play in May because you don't have the bodies. The route that sells the most jerseys isn't always the one that survives the second round. This is where we've got to be grown-ups about it. You don't chase a headline if your identity already works. You add a connector who never kills a possession. You add a big who turns DHO into free throws. You add a wing who can navigate a screen without grabbing. You steal 2 empty trips a night and call it a deadline win. Fans don't throw parades for it. Coaches do. There's also the human layer people keep skipping. You don't dominate this league for 2 decades without being obsessive about routine. Rehab is a routine. The weight room is a routine. Travel is a routine. Trust is a routine. Family is a routine. Los Angeles understands how to stage all of that at once. That's not a shot at any other city. That's an acknowledgement that legacy maintenance is a full-time operation, and we have an organization built for it. The idea that a player at this stage makes the biggest move of his life without a perfect alignment of health plan, role clarity, depth certainty, and narrative fit. Come on. This isn't a mid-prime hop. This is the final chapters. Endings matter, stewardship matters. And that's why I keep landing on the same place. If something seismic happens, it will be because every adult in the room believes it makes May and June better, not louder, better. If not, the noise is just that. We weaponize it and keep building. Okay, time to climb to the peak together because you deserve the headline at the top of the mountain, not in the parking lot. Is the superstar in purple and gold about to join the Mavericks? Here's my honest, measured, one-to-one answer. Only if 2 brutal hurdles clear at the exact same time. First, Dallas would have to prove it can pay the toll without stripping so much two-way depth that the entire point of adding a legend disappears in the playoffs. Second, the Lakers would have to receive a package that genuinely makes this team harder to eliminate in a Game 5, 6, or 7 than keeping the best late-game chess player of his era. Both conditions at once? That's a moonshot. And if you've watched this sport long enough, you know moonshots make for great thumbnails and terrible probability, which is why my stance, as a fan and as someone who treats this like film study, is practical optimism. Let the rumor do its job. Add urgency to our internal conversations, sharpen our shopping list, focus our conditioning. Then let our plan do its job. Manage minutes, win the math, clean up the empty trips, and keep the ball in the right hands when the lights get mean. So what do we do with the rest of the season if the buzz keeps buzzing? We use it. We use it to nudge a selling team into moving a connector at a sane price. We use it to reinforce the standard in the locker room. Take care of the ball, sprint to spacing, defend with our chest, and trust the pass. We use it to keep the minutes sane so that when the calendar flips and the scouting gets personal, our legend isn't burnt, our role guys are confident, and our scheme can travel. That's how you build a contender without trading your identity. And that's why I'm not trembling when someone adds to Dallas after his name. I'm smiling. Because pressure is information. It tells you who's solid and who's fishing. It tells you what games you need to win now and what series you're preparing to win later. It tells you that the Lakers are still the team everyone measures themselves against when it comes to relevance and rings. And that, my friends, is a good place to be in October. Before I wrap, I want your voice in this, loud, specific, and honest. If the call actually came and had legs, which line would you refuse to cross and why? Would you trade a late-game legend for depth and picks because you're convinced structure beats stardom when the scouts have your A-sets memorized? Or would you hold your position and bet on a spring where health, spacing, and IQ converge the way banners demand? Don't give me a shrug, give me a blueprint. If you'd even consider a move, spell out the exact return that turns anxiety into advantage. Do you want a no-dribble finisher who sets bone-crunching screens, seals the low man, and converts at the rim without needing touches drawn up for him? A switchable wing who can guard up a position, tag rollers without fouling, hit above the break threes, and cut on time? Or a secondary creator who lives under control, doesn't cough the ball when the first read dies, and can captain bench units for 6 clean minutes in the second and fourth? Tell me your thresholds. What level of on-ball defense is a must? What shooting floor you accept? What contract years you refuse? Would you prioritize players with playoff proof over raw tools? Or do you want legs and length that our staff can polish by April? How many picks are real leverage to you if protections water them down? Would you accept swap rights over far-out firsts if it keeps the rotation intact today? And what about fit in our closing 5? Who has to be able to screen? Who has to be able to shoot? Who has to be able to switch? And who has to be able to calm the possession when the set gets blown up? Drop the 3 non-negotiable traits that, in your mind, convert a rumor into a plan. Maybe it's low-mistake playmaking, sturdy point-of-attack defense, reliable 38% plus on catch and shoot, or maybe it's elite screening, vertical gravity, foul discipline. Give me your red lines. 2, the prospect you won't part with, the chemistry piece you won't touch, the pick you won't move because it nukes the next 2 summers. Paint me the version that makes sense to you in round 2 and round 3, not just on a Tuesday timeline. I read everything, clip everything, and our community genuinely gets smarter with your reps as much as it does with mine. So be the front office in the comments. Include the minutes you see, the roles you'd assign, and how you protect our late-game identity when teams start switching everything and shrinking the floor. My bottom line, clean and professional, with zero theatrics. The Lebron to Dallas talk says more about Dallas's urgency and the modern CBA than it does about the Lakers' intent. The contract structure gives him the wheel, not the rumor mill. The math punishes star chasing at the expense of depth, especially when the second apron shuts the door on easy fixes. The basketball logic inside this building points towards surgical upgrades, connectors who erase empty trips, screeners who turn contact into advantage, wings who lift our defensive floor, and thoughtful, minute management that lands us fresh in May. Not a headline that robs us of the very thing that wins in June, answers when the play you called dies. I'm optimistic because the plan is sound, the leverage is ours, and the path to get better doesn't require selling our soul. Let everyone else chase shadows. We'll stack clean possessions, tighten our rotation habits, get healthier on our schedule, and make this rumor a footnote to a season built on winning time, not trending time. And if you're new around here, you know what to do? Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown when real news drops. Smash the like if this helped you see past the smoke. Share it with the Laker in your group chat who's trading half the roster on a Tuesday, and ring the bell. I'll be in the comments tonight. Tell me your non-negotiables. Tell me your dream boring upgrade. Tell me your preferred crunch time 5 and the one matchup you're building it for. And tell me exactly how you'd deploy this rumor to make the team better by February. Because that's how we turn noise into wins.